This is a profession.
Goalkeeper formally नमस्ते खराब. Normally goalkeeper except card goalkeeper hot card. Sit. Today, did I promise anything that I will do today? So a truly beautiful mind.
Yes.
Not done.
That's good.
Related to whom?
Albert
Einstein. No, my childhood, sorry. My childhood. No, my childhood not done. Abdul Kalam not done.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. पुण्य हो गया हम इधर करेंगे. अच्छा now tell me, how many chapters? How many chapters there we have to see? My childhood we will do today's 14.
Yes.
10. And then we have reached for the top. We have 14 hours left to complete the syllabus. Grammar and all everything is done. Only we have to do reach for the top and then if I were here after the student get after the body. The lastly, a house is not a home. The beggar, बहुत बढ़िया है. आज दो करेंगे. आज we will do because I need some in this course I need some time to revise now. And Akash.
Yes.
Why do you skip keywords while writing answers? One chapter you got 13.5. Do you remember?
Yes.
Which one? So go home. If you get the paper during this vacation, you find out underline because you have the model answer. Right? Underline the points that you have missed. Why you scored less? If you do not, only giving exam is not enough. After you get the paper, you just analyze because you have the your at the bottom answer, analyze the points that we have placed. Or you underline करो and if possible write at the back of the paper the answer sheet. You get list. You need to write the answer again. Then you will understand. I told you in the last class I'll show you the exactly the way a student should write answer in board exam to get full marks. I'll show you. Yes, I'll show you. Next class is after Diwali. I'll show you. We have here. I tried to. APJ Abdul Kalam. Who is he? Who is he?
Yes.
President and former president of India. And he is also called the missile man of India. And he used to work in ISRO. ISRO. And when he was small, because ISRO is a institution where just like NASA, you know about NASA, Aeronautical Science. So ISRO is an institution where they जैसे वो ISRO ही भेजा था ना चांद पे. So it's like NASA. We should more than before knowing about other country, we should know about our country. Indian Scientific Research Space research, yes. So the mission to moon was Chandrayaan was conducted by ISRO. My childhood. He was a Muslim by name, only by name. He did not follow any religion. He knew about all the religious books like Gita, Quran, everything. And he was a strict vegetarian. Used to play Veena, I think. Whatever. And when he was small, why the idea of joining ISRO came in his mind? When he was small, he is from South, so he was he was roaming around on a sea beach, and then he saw all the birds fly, and then he thought, a thought, he was a small child, thought came in his mind that one day I want to fly. He wanted to fly one. So with that thought, wanted to fly, and which instrument, I mean, which which vehicle flies, well, the word fly means plane. That is the reason he finally joined ISRO and worked with for space research or space vehicle, etc.
Yeah, actually, when he saw, he said that he wanted to fly in during the Air Force, but he came 81st, just missing out by 1 month. So he said it was a mistake.
Yeah, so the thought came when he saw birds flying. The thought came, that's why Wings of Fire. There is a book written Wings of Fire. The wings that were of fire, the determination. Here fire is meant by determination. And he does not belong to a very rich, well-to-do family, but he had the vision that he wanted to do good for himself, not only for himself, for his country. And that is what he did. Page number 60. So next class we don't have. Next Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Next Tuesday, no. They already for Sunday puja. Next Tuesday we don't have. Next Tuesday we don't have. Okay, 14th अभी भी है. Last class we'll discuss, revise everything, and I promised I'll give you the notes that I have prepared. Along with that, I'll show you the topper's paper, how to write. And then mock test will start from January. Your mock test will start from January. Can you think of any scientists who have also been statesmen? Statesman means someone who served the country. APJ Abdul Kalam, whose projects in space, defense, and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century, became our 11th president in 2002. In his autobiography, Wings of Fire, this is the book I am talking about, he speaks of his childhood, Wings of Fire. The wings he dreamt, and fire is about the determination that he had. Fire. So if you have the fire, Akash, you can write answers very well. And I told you, as I told you, English is also important. The board result is important. The percentage is important. Once you go abroad to study abroad, they see your performance throughout your career. That's why it's important. And also, if you want to do MBA, so you are giving CAT and you get 100 percentile, 99.9 percentile, and there is an interview. They see if you have scored very good, just IM में पढ़ना है, MBA पढ़ना है. So it's very important that you overall your percentage is very high. Apart from your CAT exam, so in every field it's very important. And to go get good percentage, you have to score good marks in all the subjects. अब 12th के बाद तो ये सब पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Till 12th you have to do. What you have to do, you have to do. You have no other choice but to study. है ना? I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram. He is from Rameshwaram, in the erstwhile Madras state, which was before known as Madras. Now it's called Chennai, no? Is it Chennai now? State? I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram in the erstwhile Madras state. It was before called former Madras state. Now Madras, we don't say Madras, we say Chennai, no? My father, Jainul Labdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. You can see why he talks about his father like that. So underline how he describes his father. His father possessed great innate wisdom, inborn. Innate is inborn, it's written over there. Inborn wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. Generous person. Who is a generous person? A person who does charity. Who is too much into charity. Like we can talk about Infosys chairman, Infosys founder of Infosys. Who is the founder of Infosys? Sudha Murthy's husband. Naam bolo. Sudha Murthy is also very much into charity. His husband Narayan Murthy. Narayan Murthy is also into charity. So they gave all their wealth. Even Tata also, no? If we talk about Ratan Tata, he is also so generous person. When we talk about generous person, we immediately what comes in our mind? A person like Ratan Tata, a person like Narayan Murthy, a woman like Sudha Murthy. So they are all generous person. He was like that. Though he did not have much wealth. But see, if you did not be wealthy to show your generosity. Suppose you are sitting with your dal chawal, but not wealthy, dal chawal, and you see someone who is very hungry, you can share your food with that person. That is also generous. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashi Amma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day. She was also so generous. Though they were not fed wealthy, they used to feed so many people. But I'm quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. So this is when you are talking, writing the word generous about Abdul Kalam's mother. She was a generous woman. And then with that, what will you write? You have to mention why you say so. Remember again and again when you are using a keyword or key phrase, you have to mention why you are using that. ठीक है नहीं तो full marks नहीं मिलेगा. So why you say they are generous? The mother and father, they were generous because more than the family members, more people used to feed. They used to feed than the family members at home. I was one of my many children, a short boy. We know Abdul Kalam was very short with this hair like this, no? Remember Abdul Kalam? I was one of many children, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, because we know he was not good looking. When we think about a good looking person as a statesman is someone who is a member of who is a important person in the what to say in the political scenario, you can say. So when we think about Jawaharlal Nehru, the first thing comes is a very good looking man. When we talk about Indira Gandhi, the first thing comes into our mind, she was very good looking. When Priyanka Gandhi, when we think she is very good looking. But when we think about Abdul Kalam, he was not good looking, not attractive, male. So he says undistinguished looks. He was not good looking. When you go to grade 10, you will see a poem. I say different things to you so that you remember. When you go to grade 10, if your syllabus remains unchanged, you will see there is a poem called Amanda. So in that poem, Amanda, it's written that she is talking about, she's very good looking, and she's a foreigner, so she has that blonde hair, orange colored hair and all. Again, same thing. Why you everything you are having this? Sleeping posture. You know how I can give you a solution to this. Don't sleep in the
I don't sleep in that.
Then?
I sleep in that. It's on, I sleep on here.
Gotcha. वो रात का bad posture. It haunts you throughout the day. क्या हो रहा है? Back में दर्द हो रहा है, you have a support. You even sit there for a support. You want that? Akash? इसका पढ़ रहा है. यार, अच्छे बच्चे. Okay. Now, so he says undistinguished look. So how he looked? He was a short boy with rather undistinguished looks, born to tall and handsome parents. Though parents were tall and handsome. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. It was a fairly large Pakka house made of limestone and brick on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. They were Muslims. My austere father is simple, strict, and severe. He was simple, but he was very strict and very disciplinarian. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. And that was the best way, that is the best way to raise a child. Not giving any luxury. अब मैं अंदर हाँ ही कर रहे थे वो सब बैन होना चाहिए आप लोगों के हाथ से. Mobiles and everything. The mobile that should be given to you is the purana wala, wo jo only button wala. So these luxuries were not given to Abdul Kalam. So he is Abdul Kalam. This one man, I forgot his name. He is the founder of I forgot his name. Do I remember? I will remember after some time. He is Apple नहीं Apple तो नहीं Apple का founder तो इस और एक क्या है Microsoft Bill Gates by Bill Gates once told because they are so much They are so much into gadgets and everything. He said once when his children were small, he he did not give any gadget to his children. I think he had three. He has two boys and one girl. I think or two boys or two girls or one boy. He said, I do not allow my children, though he is the head of Microsoft, I do not allow my children to use any gadget. So ये कम आप देखो अभी after corona it's you cannot avoid using because WhatsApp का group है ये है email आता है everything but you have to restrict the use. You do big in your life. That's what I tell my children, my students. Even I used to tell my children and tell it to students. They are also my children. That first 24 years of hardship will give you lifelong happiness. Build your career, be something, first 24 years ही करोगे. Under graduation करने के बाद, after अच्छा सा under graduation करने के बाद, rest you can do on your own. You bag a good job, and if you have a good job, you can take a good loan and go abroad for your higher studies, and there's no one who can stop you. So first 24 years of Akash for you. Also. आनंद के लिए है लेकिन ज्यादा आकाश के लिए है because Akash knows much. I asked your Hindi ma'am too because I thought that if I am wrong, I will ask her. She said yes, Akash knows much more than what he writes. Do you agree, Akash?
So, personal perspective.
No, this is not a third person perspective. This is a reality. I can show you proof. First person proof I can show you. Paper. So when I teach you, you know much more than what you produce on the paper. So interview तो नहीं होता है CBSE में. It's all about writing. Interview कब होता है? UPSC में होता है, IIM में होता है, but फिलहाल तो नहीं होता. So you have to be good in writing. Better, he's good in writing. Sometimes dramatic ability, but he does not miss any point. You miss the points. Okay. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, and clothes. Roti kapra makan was given nicely, but extra was not given to them. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially and emotionally. Emotionally, parents used to give lots of time, that is emotional support. So when you come home, someone bullied you in the school or in the playground, you come home and both your parents are working, and when they come back and when you go to say, tell them something, they say, Beta, I'm very tired, I'll listen to you tomorrow. You are not getting any emotional support from your parents. And also material support, he says that though excess work was not given to you, then what he got that much that is necessary for a child. So both emotional and materialistic, material and emotional support needs to give. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I have never been able to understand because he was too small to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Moss Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. It was a big thing for a child, 8-year-old child. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the World War, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Dinamani, it's a magazine or a newspaper. So brother-in-law, they were many children. So maybe one of the sister got married and the brother-in-law used to tell him stories about the World War. He was a small child and next day used to search for the stories in the daily. Dinamani and newspaper. Our area being isolated was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces and something like a state of emergency was declared. The armies of UK, US, and Russia during the Second World War, they have to join. You have to be an ally because if you're not being an ally, if something happens to your country, the other country will not come to save you. You cannot stay neutral. So you have to decide. जैसे यूक्रेन और रशिया की वॉर में वो we supported Russia, isn't it? What do you say something? At some point. And USA supported Ukraine, no?
Oh, they had a fight when they fought each other. They
fought with each other.
as in a meeting verbally.
Globally, yes. But they never supported Ukraine. Support भी नहीं किया.
In fact, Donald Trump insulted them.
Was that Joe Biden was the president who was confronted with the man working in the camps to fight that stuff.
And India was told by USA not to buy oil from Russia, but we are still buying. That's why India, that's why Donald is angry on us. Why we are buying, still buying oil from Russia.
Stock market fell by $1 trillion.
Because of this.
No,
Oil.
Because of tariff.
no, because China banned their oil petals exportation.
Because of the tariff they are imposing on different countries, they are withdrawing their trade from
And
us.
then they 100% tariff on Chinese goods.
अभी तो whatever any country is telling, the US is threatening with tariff charge. That is the only weapon. Two weapons he has. One is immigration weapon and one is tariff weapon. कुछ भी होता है घर जाओ परदेसी. क्या हुआ?
It has become a joke.
Yes. Okay. Now no one is taking him seriously.
He insulted them.
Okay. Our area was isolated. Okay. And then, but India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram station road between Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi. So there was the stoppage was stopped. There were no stoppage there at Rameshwaram, and so if there's no stoppage, how they will give the paper? So they have to throw from the window of the train. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally I filled the stock. So what he used to do as a child, he used to first sell tamarind and then helping hand for Samsuddin to yes. I feel just for Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. And how he earned money when he, as a child, first one, he was a helping hand to Samsuddin to catch the bundles, not distribute, catch the bundle. The bundles were thrown from the window of the train. Why?
Because the mission was not to
Stop anymore because of the World War. First casualty.
not making a mission a stop.
First casualty. Maybe the trains was no. Maybe they wanted more stoppages in the areas where the police is needed, the army is needed. So that's why Rameshwaram was not, it is an isolated, very isolated village. So it was not needed there. Mostly when there is a war, the opponent, which places they target, that places that are densely populated. So that casualties more. That's why Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when they dropped the bomb, their actual target was Tokyo. So because isolated place में ज़्यादा casualty होगा ही नहीं, it's a wastage of the immunity, ना? So they maybe more army and police were needed in some other places, maybe in the in Chennai, in Madras. That's why. So it was a pride for him. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. Who is the figure of authority in your house? Akash? Parents. Your parents. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father, from my mother. I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my 3 brothers and sisters. I had 3 close friends in my childhood. Ram Nadha Shastri, Arvindan, and Shiva Prakasan. All 3 boys, these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. In fact, Ramanatha Shastri was the son of Bakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the highest priest of the Rameshwaram temple. There was no indiscrimination as a Hindu or a Muslim. We see these days. Do you remember Godhra incident where there was a Gujarat, there was a riot between the Hindus and the Muslims, and the Sabarmati Express was burnt, and so many Hindus died because the Hindus attacked the Muslims attacked the Hindus by burning the Sabarmati Express, and it was so many people died. And then Pahalgam, Kashmir, we fight based on religion, but it was not there when he was a small child in Rameshwaram. तो तभी तो partition नहीं हुआ था. It was undivided India, 1939 में. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. One of them was the highest priest's son. Later, he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his father. Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiva Prakasan became a catering contractor for the southern railways. So the profession of the 3 friends you have to remember. First one became the highest priest, like father. Second one क्या हुआ उसने क्या किया business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, important line, visiting pilgrims, not any transport arranger. And Shiva Prakash,
What is pilgrims?
pilgrim Hajj में जाता है, when you go for a चार धाम visit, तीर्थ यात्रा, yes. And the third one became a catering contractor for the southern railways, Shiva Prakash. During the annual, so इसके लिए with this, you might get a multiple choice answer or one word answer. So you have to remember all these things. What he got from his, inherited from his parents, from his mother, from his father, mother, father, is not important. Now the story. During the annual Sri Sita Ram Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site. During the annual Sri Sita Raman Kalyanam ceremony, it's a Hindu ceremony. Our family, he is telling our family, Muslim family. So see so much of liberation. Our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord From the temple to the marriage site, Lord Ram married Sita. Situated in the middle of the pond called Ram Tirtha, which was near her house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. Prophet, who is this prophet? Yes, Prophet Muhammad, yes. So as we have Ramayana, they have, what is their epic? And they say it's written by Muhammad. So Muhammad is their prophet. So as they used to hear stories about Prophet Muhammad, they also used to hear stories of Ramayana and Ramayana. My grandmother. One day when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher, Rameshwaram, his name of his school, Rameshwaram Elementary School under the a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim. You know the cap? You can see the Muslim fellows going to the white going to for namaz, that white color cap. Even Maharashtrians also wear cap like that. So that's yeah, as a cap. Or as a boat cap. Boat cap is not for Maharashtrians. A new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim. And I always sat in the front row next to Ramananda Shastri. Who is Ramananda Shastri? The head priest of the. So who is Ramananda Shastri? Son of Father Saint will not be. You have to mention who father was. Okay, full answer. Who was the secretary? A new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting, could not stomach mother, could not tolerate. A Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance with the social ranking as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to sit in the back bench. I felt very sad, and so did Ramananda Shastri. He looked utterly downcast, sad. As I shifted to my seat in the last group, the image of him weeping when I shifted to the last group left a lasting impression. Even when he grew old, still remember that incident. Lasting impression. After school, we went home, so write an incident that left a long-lasting impression on Abdul Kalam's memory. So this should be the story. Okay, a story that left a long impression on his memory. Long-lasting impression. After school, we went home and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality. What we say, Ramananda Shastri, he should not. Lakshmana Shastri want to say poison of social inequality. Another very important point. Poison of, you want a pencil? Anyway, the next year using a yoga, so poison of social inequality. This means the social inequality is a hatred based on religion, not about either Muslims, based on religion. When Indira Gandhi was killed by Sikh men, there was everywhere the Sikhs were so terrified because everywhere common people they were killing Sikh people. Based on religion, Sikh ne mara hai to mar. So it should not, nothing should be that is called social. What is it called? Poison of social inequality.
She was killed by the Sikhs because she had ordered them to open fire on some terrorists. The state.
Orbited.
Yeah, it is a sacred place.
And they were actually there.
Where the bodyguards are.
He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Rameshwaram is an island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately informed the young a strong opinion or belief that Lakshman gave to the teacher. He did not leave the school. Instead, he changed his way of thinking. On the whole, the small society of Kameshwara was very which becomes of the centration of social groups. However, my science teacher, Shiva Subramania Iyer, though an Orthodox family, was a very conservative, with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. Rebel is someone who opposes against something. Who the person who are in power. Wait, yes, a rebel is a person who has the to go against something. Who was a rebel? He did his best to break social barriers so that people from various backgrounds could mingle easily. He wanted to do it, that people from every background, when we are mixing with someone, when I'm mixing with you, when I'm teaching you, when I'm teaching you, when I'm teaching our whole class, I should not think that I will teach less to that boy because he's a Muslim. I'll teach less to that boy because he's a Christian. I'll teach more to this boys because they are Hindu. I'll teach my best to the children who are Bengali. No, I should not teach. I should not think like that. There should be no segregation based on anything, state polo, religion polo, social segregation. That is social segregation. So we are break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. So teacher who are they have to go back to their country. In Maharashtra, there was a very uproar that Ravis they were just whoever saw here they were eating them. And then there is also something that is northeast, Assam and all. There also, many a times they are humiliated.
They are said that
They are also humiliated many times because he announced the Bulan. So please about it. Not end of the day, that is what should happen. Used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated topics. Used to sit with me to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. So you are very intelligent. I know one day you will be at par with the highest grades of the country. So I want to develop in such a way that you break all social barriers. One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in a ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiva Subramania Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he got perturbed. He was not at all, did not make any difference to him because he knew how his wife was. He was not disturbed. Not really get angry with his wife, but instead served me with his own hands and sat down beside me, eat his meal. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the food after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Shiva Subramania Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next week. So he is a rebel. What shows that he is a rebel? In spite of having an orthodox wife, he never listened to him and neither he did not disturb him. He did what he wanted. So he was not bothered by his wife's behavior. That shows he's a rebel. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems are to be confronted. Very important line. What is it? So, bringing the change is not easy. So, if you want to bring a change, you have to face harsh or opposition. And you have to confront that. We have to be, should not move back or run away. Once we decide that we will fight for the cause, we cannot run away when there is obstacle. That is the reason. Do you remember Sodiram Basu, who was hanged when he was only 18 or 22 years old? Freedom fighters. So many freedom fighters were hanged and killed. And have you been to Andaman? Cellular jail? There used to be set there, and there. If you have been to Andaman, you have seen how they were tortured.
There are still cells. This from government spot.
I mean, once you tell your parents, after 9th of exam, but see, you will feel that as if they are still present there. Sense as आता है, you see the cell and the पेड़ बनाना, इतना पेड़ बनाना, the but they could have avoided that if they told all the secrets to the patients. But they what they that they were rebels and they knew that कितना भी hardship आए, I have to be my country. So that is the determination. So once you decide something, you have to you will have many obstacles, but you cannot. So this is a small obstacle. That's what this teacher said. This obstacle will come, but you have to stick to our thought. When I visited his house the next day, Sibu Subramania, IS White put me inside a kitchen and so he put me back with thanks. See that change. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was evident. Indians will build their own India with their Gandhiji. That was during the partition. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. Optimism is yes, we can believe. That positive feeling for optimism. They were positive that we will get freedom from the Britishers. The whole country was filled with that unprecedented optimism. Real optimism, they knew that yes, we can really get. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. He told me as if thinking about me, I told you have to go and it would grow. Just the seagull must fly across the sun alone and become a nest. He quoted Halil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Mother was hesitant. It was such a small size, those days. To go out of the state to study. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come to you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. They want to fly, the seagull, they do not have a nest. They fly, and wherever they find a ledge, they stand there, they meet there, and then cave anywhere beside a sea. So your children are like seagull, they will fly. They have wings, they will fly. So you have given birth to them, but they do not belong to you. They have their own thought and they should apply their own thought. They should live by their own thoughts. This is what Father gives such a wise person to us wisdom. This is an extract from Many Days of Fire. Where was Abdul Kalam's house? We all know. What do you think was promised? Let me see if I have something. Because they will take it. On Friday, we saw take the changes. See the doubt. Don't waste time. What are your plans for the Diwali? Going anywhere? Nothing? And you, Akash?
I think we will go Kashmir or
अभी अभी तो दिवाली आ गया अभी ठीक का क्या है समारोह छुट्टी डन है ना ठीक है ना I just quite well. Oh, everyone take a my side. So you have planned for a big party? Sorry. Yes. Question asked is देखो. Next week work for him. So this chapter, though it looks easy, there's lots of inner thinking and feeling that mainly about social disorder. Yes. And really, see, full marks के लिए क्या लिखा है? Abdul Kalam Charles was on the boss street in Rameshwaram. And what more you already use? I said, what did you use? What did you say? For the Moscow you said? You said? So this is the full answer. Rameshwaram का लिखोगे आधा ही मिलेगा. What do you think Dinamani is the name of given result for your answer? A local newspaper.
This is because Abdul Kalam used to praise the headlines of the World War.
Stories of the World War told him by his brother-in-law Jalaluddin. This much लिखना है. Very tough. brother-in-law ही होगा.
There is also the present voice.
वो संस्कृत नहीं होगा. है Jalaluddin. Dinamani, my brother-in-law Jalaluddin. Brother-in-law sisters husband. उससे 8 years है but many cousins and sisters maybe those days girls used to get married as young as 30. Okay.
Father's name.
So all right, come here. Let's see here. So here the main point is local news. Here, this is this local newspaper. Akash, local newspaper लिखना है. The second word would be address in Dinamani. This is not enough. The stories that were told to him by his brother-in-law, Jalaluddin. Who were Abdul Kalam's school friends? What did they later become? ये तो पता ही है. How did Abdul Kalam earn his first page? First page, selling camera. No.
Because there is a question after that, had he heard anybody before that or him. So we will write that.
The second one of the newspaper was the first page. Page was the salary. वो तो खुद बेचता था, वो बेच नहीं था. This is wage. Salary. That was business. Selling. So this is wage. Was given a like salary like by Samsudin or cousin brother, na? Cousin brother लिखना है. During the Second World War, the newspapers were bundled and thrown out of a moving train. Abdul Kalam earned his first wages by helping his cousin. नाम लिखना है, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram to catch his battles. So ये लिखना है. During Second World War, the newspapers were bundled and thrown out of a moving train because the train when there was no halt in Rameshwaram after the Second World War erupted. You can mention that, and then they were thrown from the window and used to help cousin brother, whatever now remember, to catch the bundle, ना? तो क्या था bundle?
Catch the distributed. Yes. He used to catch the
bundle and help So, and in return, you used to give it our age.
So this question can afford 2 marks and
Hardcore side of it.
2 marks then for this one is sufficient.
One mark still whatever I said is something. So 1 mark can be taken. This is also.
I can't present for the marks. And as to what how to pick up the British from Canada.
Yeah, basically.
Basically,
Otherwise, 2 marks. Otherwise, 2 marks, 3 marks.
That's
2 marks is not good.
Then
it's like, yeah, it's not like exact. In our school, it's like 2 sub-questions.
From the extract, huh?
oh, actually, extract based questions are there for 3 marks, then
Extract
it will
question for 4 marks.
yes, then it will be a one question and which it will be of 2 marks or 3.
But anything. For grade 3, grade 10 and 50 years, so you will follow 3.
Yeah.
3 marks, 3 marks either, and that you write 40 to 50 words. Okay. Had you earned any money before that? इसका आंसर वो होगा traveling selling. So yes, Abdul Kalam had earned some money before that with the Second World War broke. He mentioned an important thing. There was a huge demand for traveling seats because here, if you are right, there was a huge demand why because of the Second World War, and the reason was not known to me. That was the mentioned. He used to collect the seeds and sell them at a provision shop on the Mosque Street, receptive on one. And he was very proud of it.
What was that?
Yes. He was very proud of it. And there were 3 marks for the 30 words नहीं है. It's 50 words. 50 words. देखो, how does the author describe one his father, 1.5 marks, his mother, and himself? 1, 2, 3, 1 mark. Father Jagannathan was not a wealthy or educated person, however, he was an honest and generous man right from here. Who causes faith in wisdom right from here. He was self-disciplined and avoided all essential luxury. Hostel you can write. Hostel is means discipline, na? Hostel you can use only that word. He describes his mother as a maid लिखना है, as an ideal helper to her husband. She was a woman with a big heart who paid many people. More people said he describes himself as a short boy with undistinguished looks. He possesses the qualities of honesty, self-discipline, and kindness which he inherited from his parents. Abhi, जाने दो, you study on your own. Anyway, these papers last class I give to you. So the points that I also added, you have to write. So if it's a 1 mark question or 2 mark question, the answer will not be the same. आपको ऐड करना है आगे या पीछे.
The first paper right.
See, which social groups does he mean? He mentions 2 social groups of Orthodox Brahmins and Muslims. As for this chapter, we are talking about Hinduism. Where these groups easily identified, for example, by the way they dressed. Yes, these groups were easily identified. They had their separate trait or a cap. Different dress codes are featured. For example, Kalam used to wear a cap or while his friend Ramanathan used to wear the second. Let's see if we have a very valuable question. We have the volume. Valuable question 6 marks का आता है इनमें.
One question I remember from this. Describe the religious society of Rameshwaram. Who were the people? I don't remember, but that sentence that
in the volume.
Only a map here for. Oh, yeah, it's a strong.
If you cannot write, you can read, we can write together. Otherwise, read the volume.
I wrote that.
All the questions are there in the volume and Bazaar's question also.
I have example of 500 for example, I wrote the.
So accordingly, you see how much marks is allotted, you can write the answer.
Wait for 5 minutes, the next chapter.
Let us decide which chapter we do next. So you understood this one, this chapter, you can write the stories. First wage is different, earning is different. First one was damage was his earning, and he was proud of it. Second one was his wage. His he changed money, but the good much jana. We will go ahead.
Chapter from home, that is last.
Is there any poem left? No, na? Five by you is a poem.
3 and here. Oh no, it's 3 and it's there.
520 you are well read, na? So we'll do the beggar. The beggar. Huh? Oh, Kiki, we don't have any poem there. If I write you, it's a poem.
It's like a play.
The last page is also not a poem. The house, our house is not a home.
It's not a poem. Let's put that as this word.
Okay, take a break. And come back and then we'll do something, a small one, not a big one. Take care of my mobile, huh? See.
Oh.